Good morning, Doreen Primary School. So far for term 3 in clay, we've made a pinch pot with coils on top of it. We've made a slab pot, I hope, and we've made two pots that you join together, carve it open, add some parts for heads and body parts and plant into that. We've also made our first game, dominoes, and this is our second game. So today's challenge is for you to make your own chess game. I have an old chessboard box, which is pretty beautiful. You might be lucky enough to find something one day in an op shop or have a box in your cupboard too, in your toy cupboard, that you could use as the chessboard. And if you don't, then it's quite easy to make one out of cardboard. Inside we have our chess pieces. We have the black stone pieces on this side and the white stone pieces on this side. This game is going to take you a long time to make. You can do the whole thing if you're up for it. If you're not perhaps so confident about getting the whole game done, because it will take you a long time, just concentrate on one set, and perhaps at school you can bring your own set to play with a partner who brings their own set. If you're a little person and you don't think you can make very many, maybe you could just make your favourite piece, and it could be a little sculpture. Of course, I've pulled out the horse, the knight. He is my favourite piece. You do not need to make a chess set in the traditional way. You could make some very small things like little dogs, and they could be your pawns. Inside our beautiful box, we've got the chess pieces. We've got our black pieces and our white pieces. So you're going to need to use two colours of clay. I've got some white clay and I have some terracotta clay to make the different armies, I suppose you call them. You do not need to make a traditional chess set. You can invent your own characters. You need a whole lot of little pawns. And the traditional pawn looks like this. It's got a little round top, nice solid base so it doesn't fall over, so keep that idea in your mind. But you might like to make a whole lot of little dogs. They could be your pawns, lots of them all the same. Something a little bit easier to make lots of are birds. You could make birds instead of pawns, lots of them all the same. White for this side, black for this side. Black, it's more like, we're going to say terracotta. Orange and white we're going to do. Look, this is a tiny weeny little horse, absolutely minute, hard to make, but they would be fun little pawns too. So, just because they normally look like this doesn't mean you've got to stick to that idea. Then we have two of everything, except for the king and the queen. The queen and the king, you could do something very different for the king and the queen. You could do something very Alice in Wonderland, great big faces wearing crowns, or perhaps different types of animals. We have the rooks, the castles, and the knights, two of each. So it's up to you how your chess pieces will look. As long as you've got enough pieces to play the game, it will work. Now, if you're going to make the traditional pawn, I suggest you just start with about the right size so you don't have to. Let's make a few blocks the same, like we did with the dominoes. If you get a few bits all ready to go the same size, here we are. Got two blocks of clay about the same size. Tap them so they stand up. Don't want them falling down on you. you can actually carve them this week. So if you want to have a round little top, just haven't cut right through, I've just cut part of the way through. Now that's better than adding on a piece. And then I can cut away the sides and use those bits I cut off for the next piece. So that's not too hard to do. Little pawn is done already. I think it would be rather nice to pinch out a nose and put on a mouth and some eyes. There we are. Can you see he's got a little face now? He could even have a wacky hairstyle, couldn't he? Notice I'm not adding, I'm pinching. If you pinch the clay into shape, it doesn't fall off and break like it does when you add. Alright, so you're going to have a nice time, I hope, making some really beautiful clay pieces. Knights, rooks, bishops, kings and queens, and please let your imagination go wild.